Hello and welcome to this session on realism. The Renaissance-inspired idealized painting tradition of Western art since 1400 didn't continue after the huge social change triggered by the Industrial Revolution. Works of art usually depicted from the viewpoint of those rebelling against the political oppression. England led the Industrial Revolution, which transformed the economies first of Western Europe, then of United States and other parts of the world from an agricultural to a primarily industrial base. Factories were established mainly in urban areas and people moved to the cities in search of work. New social class divisions arose between factory owners and workers. Demands for individual freedom and citizens' rights were accompanied in many European countries by social and political movements for workers' rights. Romanticism and realism were the art reactions to this social change. But realism rejected Romanticism's exotic themes and proposed the common society. The realist art movement flourished in France about 1840 until the late 19th century. It expresses an objective vision on modern life, the art truthfulness to the society. The 1848 revolution overturned the monarchy of Louis Philippe and developed during the period of the Second Empire under Napoleon III. This resulted in the fight for democratic reform and, as an effect, the realists democratized art by depicting contemporary subjects drawn from everyday lives of the working class. On the other hand, the invention of photography in 1840s made grew of the thought being realistic. Realism was based on the direct indulgence with the contemporary world. A manifesto entitled Les Realismes by Gustave Courbet issued in his personal exhibition. Here quotes a statement in 1861 that painting is an essentially concrete art and can only consist in the representation of real and existing things. Realists painted for the regime of liberty parallel to the naturalist literature of Émile Zola, Honore de Balzac and Gustave Flaubert. Socialist philosophies and politics of Pierre Proudhon and Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx and Friedrich Engels, published in 1848, coincided and influenced the realist thought. The same year, the first convention for women's rights was held in New York. The elevation of working class in the realms of high art and literature of the period recognized through the subject matter for realist artists. Those include the scenes of rural and urban working class life, street life, cafes and nightclubs, etc., which was general move away from ideal towards the ordinary. This spread to the Western art world and shocked the patrons of art, especially in France and Victorian art of England. Realism, as a highly political style, arose simultaneously with the Revolution of 1848. It showcased laborers and common country folk, groups that challenged the authority and privilege of the Parisian aristocracy and bourgeoisie and were in part responsible for the upheavals of 1848. Honore Daumier. Daumier was born in Marseille in France. The works that made him famous was newspaper works, his lifelong flood of lithographs attacking the government, ridiculing lawyers and generally deflating social and pretentiousness wherever he found it. Daumier exhibited his paintings at the saloons of 1849 and 1850–51. But he was ignored, however. For the rest of his life, he painted privately, exhibiting only once more in 1877, the year before he died, at Durand Ruel, a major commercial gallery in Paris. His paintings were therefore essentially unknown. In contrast to his commercial work, his oils are pure compassion. He dispensed with humor and satire and relying